Hi, Mr. Richmond. This is your Integrated Math 1, Unit 6.3 lesson summary. Unit 6.3 will be on applications of systems of equations. We have done a few applications throughout the text in 6.1, 6.2. In 6.3, though, we're going to predominantly focus on the setup of these word problems and go through the full process of how to set them up and solve these problems. So you've seen a lot of different types. There is a large variety in the type of word problems you can solve with applications. But here I just gave you two of the examples that you may see come test time. So a school is selling tickets for their musical. On day one, they sold 9 adult tickets and 7 child tickets for $148. On the second day, they sold 3 adult tickets and 14 child tickets for $131. What is the price each an adult ticket and a child ticket cost? Now, there's a lot of information there, and some teachers may say go through, underline the important information. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say first, just read the last sentence, read the question so we know where we're trying to get. It says, what is the price each an adult ticket and a child ticket cost? So that is my variables. The unknown, the thing you're solving for, is always your variables. So I would like to read the last sentence and determine my variables. I can use any variable I want, but I'm going to use A to represent the cost of an adult ticket. That's what they want me to find. And I'm going to use C to represent the cost of a child ticket. And now I know what I'm actually trying to solve. Now I can go back through the problem and try to write an equation as one formulates through the word problem. So on day one, they sold 9 adult tickets. Okay, if they sold them, then it would be the 9 tickets times the price of an adult ticket A. So this is the income from selling those 9 tickets. Plus, they sold 7 child tickets. 7 times the price of a child ticket. So I have an expression for the cost of money that must have came in from selling 9 adult tickets and 7 child tickets. And they even tell me how much they made from that. They made $148, so I can set that equal to 148 because that must work if I have the correct price for A and C. On the second day, they sold 3 adult tickets, 14 child tickets for $131. So that gives me a second equation for a second situation. 3 times A again for 3 adult tickets, and 14C for the 14 child tickets. I'm going to set that equal to $131, which is what they brought in for that. And just like that, I've created my system. This is the tough part. If you can find out what the variables are going to be and create your system, from there it's just a matter of following the steps for solving a system of equations. Why don't we go ahead and solve this one now? So I have 9A, 3A, 7C, 14C, and I have my constants. So everything's lined up in columns. To me, this is a good one to do elimination for. So I have to choose a variable to eliminate. I can eliminate the A's by multiplying this one by -3, or I can eliminate the C's by multiplying this one by -2. It's kind of just a preference thing there. I'm going to go with the -2. I like to choose the smaller number if possible. So I'm going to multiply the top one by -2 and rewrite the equation. -18A minus 14C equals negative 296. So I actually have to make sure I multiply everything in that equation. A lot of students make that mistake. They figure out what to multiply by to get things to eliminate, but then they don't multiply everything. Okay? The bottom equation I don't need to change at all. So I'm going to keep it 3A plus 14C equals 131. And I'm going to work that out. So now, again, the reason I multiplied by -2 was to make it so the C's were going to be able to eliminate. Now I can add this down. 3A and -18A make -15A. C's would cross out here because they would equal 0. Equals, and I need to do -296 and 131. So there's a couple ways to go about this if you're not using a calculator. I like to look at the sign. There's more negative than there is positive, so I know this is going to equal a negative number. And I just need to find the difference between those numbers, 296 and 131. Work out my subtraction, and I get -165. Now I need to divide both sides by -15 to isolate the A. And I get that A equals, and I need to figure out what negative 165 divided by negative 15 is. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. And so I'll just go ahead and work out the long division here on the side. Okay, 15 goes into 16 one time. 1 times 15 is 15. 16 minus 15 is 1. Carry down to 5, so it's 11. So I've got the first solution. According to this, the A should cost $11. Now to finish that up, I need to plug that back in to the original function for A. And I'm going to use the top one. So 9 times A plus 7 times C equals 148. And I can take A and plug it in. So it's 9 times 11 plus 7C equals 148. So 99 plus 7C equals 148. Subtract 99 to both sides. And I get 7C equals 4849. Divide by 7, and C must equal 7. Okay, do a quick check. 9 times 11 is 99. 99 plus 49 is 148. 3 times 11 is 33. 14 plus 7 is 98, so that works. It's 131. I have the correct answer. So an adult ticket, since it's a word problem, I want to try to come back and write this in some form of words. An adult ticket costs $11, and a child ticket must cost what C equals, which is $7. So I found the price that they were selling these tickets at based on the information they gave me in the problem. Okay, let's try one more. John and Jamie each bought items from the store. John spent $51 on 7 vases and 5 picture frames. Jamie spent $96 on 12 vases and 10 picture frames. Find the cost of 1 vase and 1 picture frame. Again, read that last sentence first. The cost of 1 vase and 1 picture frame. So similar style of problem, only this time now by reading the last sentence I know what my variables are. I'm going to use V for a cost of a vase and P for the cost of a picture frame. So if you choose the variables, if you know what you're going to make the variables before you start to get into the problem, it's going to be much, much easier. And you can find that by reading the last sentence. It's whatever they're asking you to look for. Now I can read the situation. He spent $51 on 7 vases, so 7V, and 5 picture frames, so 5P, and that cost $51. So again, it's just a quantity equal to the money they spent. And then the other person, Jamie, spent $96. So I know theirs is going to have to equal $96, and they bought 12 vases and 10 pictures. So I've written my system now. And if you can get there, that's the hardest part in my opinion. From here now it's just solving and being very careful, checking our work. Got to choose a variable to eliminate. These would be a bad idea because I have to multiply by 12 and 7, and that's not going to be real fun. So I'm going to stick to the P's. It looks easier to make them the same. Okay? So that choice can be the difference between getting it right or wrong there. So make sure you're practicing choosing the correct variable to eliminate based on the E's. So I'm going to multiply the top one by -2 to make it -10, and then the P's will cross out. I'm going to rewrite the equation. I have to multiply everything by -2. So 7V times -2 is -14V, 5P times -2 is -10P, 51 times 2 is 102. Okay, the second equation doesn't need to be changed. I'm going to keep it the way it is, because things will eliminate the way it's written. And now that I've done that, I can add down. -14V plus 12V is -2V. The P's would cross out this time, equals, and then 102 plus 96 is 198. Now I can divide by oops, made a mistake, see? Here's what you gotta look for, this is why you're checking. As I started to look at it, my V is gonna be a negative number, and that immediately told me, uh-oh, vase can't cost negative money. So I'm going to go back now and check for mistakes. Okay, if I waited until the very end, I would have wasted a lot of time now to start over. So I'm going to check. I must have done something wrong here. That's not looking right. So let's check. I'm supposed to multiply everything by -2, -14v, -10v, 102, I forgot to make negative. So I'm going to change that to a -102. This is why it's real important to check as you go along. Now I'll add it. So now that is a negative answer because 102 is more negative, and the difference between those is 6, so it's -6. Now I can divide both sides by -2. My answer is seeming a little more correct. Wouldn't want to pay as much as that was going to be for a vase. Definitely wasn't going to pay negative numbers. So V is 3, and now I can plug that back in to one of the original equations. 7V plus 5P equals 51. Take what V is, which is 3, plug it in. 7 times 3 is 21. So I get 21 plus 5P equals 51. Remember, when you have a variable touching a coefficient, they're multiplying together. Subtract 21 to both sides, and 5P equals 30. 51 minus 21 is 30. Divide by 5, and P is 6. So I have the potential answers. I'm going to check them. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 plus 30 is 51, so it works for the first one. 12 times 3 is 36. 36 plus 60, 10 times 6 is 96, so I have the correct answers. And I'm going to write that answer in words because it's a word problem. So cost of a vase is one of the things I was asked to find. The cost of the vase would be the answer for V, which is $3. And the cost of the picture frame would be my P variable, which was $6. Okay? In the examples I did here, I focused on ones that would be elimination. A lot of times the ones involving quantity and price are elimination. There's also mixture type problems where we talk about mixing different solutions together. Those end up being in elimination form. They're the equation in a standard form. So I focus on those because that's what we most recently practiced, but you can get these same type of word problems that use substitution. A lot of those are when they tell you the price it costs one business compared to the price it costs another business, and equal, things like that. But I wanted to just give you an idea of some of the word problems you might see, and focusing on reading the last sentence first to determine your variables before trying to actually write the equations. So hopefully this helps. Thank you and good luck.